Welcome to Gattsy on Goosebumps, the show in which I review every single Goosebumps book from R.L. Stine's original series. Today we are talking about the most dangerous mask of all, and no, I'm not talking about the benevolent mask of American neo-imperialism. We're talking Goosebumps number 11, The Haunted Mask. There's the classic Tim Jacobus cover art, and I think this really is one of the most iconic covers in the series. And for good reason, you know, it's a scary cover. Tagline is, "If looks could kill, face to face with a nightmare. How ugly is Carly Beth's Halloween mask? It's so ugly that it almost scared her little brother to death. So terrifying that even her best friends are totally freaked out by it. It's the best Halloween mask ever. It's everything Carly Beth hoped it would be, and more. Maybe too much more, because Halloween is almost over. And Carly Beth is still wearing that special mask." I like that. That's a good blurb. Our story follows 11-year-old Carly Beth, who is very easily scared, and as such is often the subject of quite mean pranks to scare her, mostly instigated by her friends Chuck and Steve. She decides that on Halloween she's gonna get them back by scaring them, and she needs a really scary mask. She goes to this old mask store, and in the back room there's all these really, really disgusting, terrifying masks, and she thinks that's perfect. The owner really doesn't want to sell her one, really, really doesn't want to, but he does anyway in the end. The bulk of the story takes place over this Halloween night, and the longer Carly Beth has this scary mask on, the more it changes her personality. She becomes nasty and ferocious and sort of wild. She's always trying to scare people, scare little kids that are trick-or-treating, and steal their candy, which doesn't seem that evil, but I'm sure you wouldn't like it if someone did it. She eventually succeeds in scaring Chuck and Steve, which she's delighted about, but she can't get the mask off. It's stuck to her face. The mask has become her face. And so she's panicking, she's freaking out. She goes back to the store where she originally bought it, and the owner's like, "Yeah, I knew you'd come back." It turns out the really scary masks aren't actually masks. They're faces that were created by the owner of the store. He created these beautiful faces in a lab, and then when he took them out of the lab, they turned hideously ugly. But he still keeps them alive. As masks, I guess. "I keep them here. I call them the unloved because no one will ever want to see them. Occasionally, someone wanders into the back room. You, for example. And one of my faces finds a new home." He explains the mask may be removed once if it's never put on again, remember that, but only with a symbol of love. And she wants to know what does that mean, a symbol of love? And for some reason he can't tell her more than that, because all the faces start coming alive, and they all start flying and hovering and chasing Carly Beth. I don't know what they're going to do when they catch her. She's already got the mask on her face at this stage. She's able to find a symbol of love eventually in the form of a plaster sculpture of her face that her mother made. And that's the symbol of love. And the masks sort of disappear. They stop chasing her. And lo and behold, she can remove the mask. So she gets home. Her mother's like, "Hey, where have you been?" She begins to tell her story. And then her younger, annoying brother, Noah, burst into the room. "Hey, Carly Beth," he called in a deep, raspy voice. "Look at me. How do I look in your mask?" The implication being, she was only allowed to take it off once, as the store owner said, to set up this deliberate cliffhanger, where presumably now the brother's stuck in the mask. It's a very good story, and it definitely benefits from taking place over the course of one night. You get to see Carly Beth become more frantic. On one hand, she revels in the fact that she can finally be scary after being the victim of pranks and scares for so long, but then it sort of slowly turns into panic when she sort of feels a different personality taking over. The idea of wearing a mask that is actually a face is a really good and really creepy idea. Again, it is muddied by somewhat typical Goosebumps explanations given towards the end of the book. This mask maker makes faces in a lab, and then they turn ugly, and it keeps them alive, and they chase people for some reason. I think it works better in these stories when you do have characters like Carly Beth, who are flawed and they're driven by selfish desires. I suppose there really is more of a moral when the character is flawed, as in this case, rather than just bad things happening to someone for completely random reasons, which does also happen pretty frequently in the series. Overall, a very exciting and genuinely very spooky book. One of the classics for good reason. Please join me next week, in which I will discuss Goosebumps number 12, Be Careful What You Wish For. Thank you for watching, and please stay